Hello everybody, I am Dr. Jeetendra, and in this lecture we will discuss how to adopt or adapt an OER for development of e-content.
Adaptation versus creation. Many educators feel driven to create the perfect resource for their classes, and it can be difficult to put aside that perfection and use other people's creation. However, the number, variety, and quality of OER available freely is such that any educator should be able to find resources they can readily, with or without adaptation, put to use within their classroom. An adaptation or adaptation of OER will almost always be more efficient than creating teaching material from scratch. What is adaptation? The term adaptation is commonly used to describe the process of making changes to an existing work. Though we can also replace adapt with revise, modify, customize, or other synonyms that describe the act of making a change. In addition to cost saving to students, one of the biggest advantage of choosing an open textbook is it gives faculty the legal right to add to, adapt, or delete the content of the textbook to fit their specific course without obtaining permission from the copyright holder. This is possible because the copyright holder has already granted permission by releasing their work using an open or Creative Commons license. This type of license gives user permission to use and reuse, share, copy, retain, and modify the textbook without consulting the author. What could be adopted? The teacher could adopt assignments, lecture notes, diagrams, videos, etc. Reasons to adopt an open textbook. One of the benefits of using an openly licensed textbook or other educational resource is that you are free to adapt it to fit your needs. In other words, you can adjust the educational resource to fit your course curriculum, not the other way around. Now we'll discuss some of the reasons adopting an open textbook. Number one is address a particular teaching style or learning style. Adjust for a different grade or course level. Meet a cultural, regional, or national preference. Make the material more accessible for people with disabilities. Translate the material into another language, or correct errors or inaccuracy.
Now let us discuss some of the examples on how an open textbook can be adopted.
In this example, you can clearly see that the author has added learning objectives to the already existing content. In this example, exercises are added. And in this case, the summary is added. Now, what is adoption? Now, we'll discuss what is adoption. Adoption is the action or fact of choosing to take up, follow, or use something. Now, we'll discuss suggestions for adoption of an open textbook. There are 4 steps involved. Number 1 is find the right textbook from various repositories. Number 2 is review and evaluate to see if it matches your criteria and based on content, presentation, online accessibility, production options, platform compatibility, delivery options, interactivity, consistency between online and printed versions, and available ancillary material like test banks, PowerPoints, etc. Number 3 is decide if you want to use as is or modify it. One of the benefits of open textbook is flexibility to modify and customize them for specific course designs as much or as little as you desire. If you want to make edits or append content, make sure Creative Commons license allows for that. And number 4 is distribute to your students. There are a number of ways in which you can do this. You can provide the link to the textbook to your students. They will have the option to select which file type they would like to download. Alternatively, you can download copies of the book and put them on another site. Some examples of where you could put your own copies of your books are your institutional LMS or learning management system. You can also use an online file sharing device like Dropbox or Google Doc. If you have a faculty website, put copies of the files on that website and send a student to your website to download your copy of the textbook.
Now we shall discuss another important topic, how to evaluate an OER.
The BCOEL librarians have developed a useful guide to assist faculty with the open textbook and OER evaluation process. This faculty guide for evaluating open educational resources has been released under CC BY 4.0 International License. The first criteria for evaluation is relevance, where you have to make a judgment on whether the information directly address one of faculty guide for evaluating open educational resources. Faculty guide for evaluating open educational resources. The BCOEL librarians have developed a useful guide to assist faculty with the open textbook and OER evaluation process. The Faculty Guide for Evaluating Open Educational Resources has been released under a CC BY 4.0 International License. The first criteria for evaluation is relevance, where you have to make a judgment on whether the information directly address one or more of the objective of the course. The second criteria is accuracy. Under this, you have to test the accuracy of the resource and check whether the information given in the resource is accurate and error-free, and whether the material has been peer-reviewed. Next criteria is production quality, which deals with the design and production issue of the resources, like is the information clear and understandable? Is the layout and interface easy to navigate? Do the design features enhance learning? For multimedia resources, are the audio and the video quality high? Next is accessibility, where you have to make judgment about the issue like format of the resource. In case of video resource, you have to additionally check for the availability of transcripts or subtitles. Another important criteria is interactivity, where you have to test whether the resource encourages active learning and whether the learner are able to test their understanding of the material. Last but not the least concern is licensing, where you have to check for the concerns like does the license allow for educational reuse of the materials and permits modification or adaptation of the materials.
I hope the contents of this lecture shall be beneficial for you. Thank you and good luck.